Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Yakkity Yak Fishing Podcast. Today, we're talking about taking little ones fishing and how to make it an enjoyable experience for not only you guys as anglers, but for them as well. So that way, someday they will get into angling or possibly have a chance of getting into angling. It's not easy being a parent. It's not easy working a job. It's not easy, doing life, the thing that we call life. And when you want to go fishing, you want to go as often as you can, and you want to be as comfortable as you can. But that goes twice as far or twice as extensive or twice as serious when it comes to bringing little ones along, especially if they're very little. So my wife and I have been doing this for a while now. Our daughter's over 2 years old at this point. We've been taking her fishing quite often, but there are some things that we learned along the way that have made it easier, some things that have made it harder. And so the point of today is to just to discuss it, point out what we have learned, what we stumbled upon, things we've gotten a hold of, things we've tried successfully and unsuccessfully to make it work out. I mean, everybody does a little bit different. It's not going to be the easiest thing for everybody, but at the same time, if you don't do it, you're never going to learn and you're never going to get there. So if you haven't been here before, my name is Anthony. You're watching the Yakkity Yak Fishing Podcast. This is a weekly podcast, or at least ideally it is. And we talk about fishing, all aspects of it, bring you news, bring you tactics, ideas, suggestions, all that good stuff. And the idea is that through our experiences, we can reduce the learning curve for those trying to get into fishing, or just give somebody who has been fishing a long time a new edge or a new idea or a new perspective to make fishing better for them. My co-host today, Josie, just woke up. Is up way earlier than normal for a Saturday or a Sunday. I mean, so she's joining me today. So let's talk about fishing. We we both enjoy it. She enjoys touching the fish and watching the fish flop more than anything else. Obviously, she's not quite able to hold a rod and reel, but she enjoys boat rides. But even those, even with on a boat, there's still things you have to consider. For them at that age or this age, this size, if you will, to keep them comfortable, keep them safe. Safe being the big one, and it's all part of it. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? Big Slim 91. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Can you say hello, Josie? Can you stop picking your nose and wave at the camera? You gonna be shy this morning? You did just wake up. But yeah, so one of the first things right off the gate when you have a kid, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, I can't do anything anymore. I gotta take care of her, or take care of him, or take care of them." All that good stuff. It just depends. But it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different process. Everybody has a different way of doing things, and by having that mindset, obviously you're not going to be fishing. But I'm here to tell you that with just a couple of mindset adjustments, a couple of things to think about ahead of time, a little more pre-trip planning, you can still fish, you can still catch fish, and you can get them exposed to the outdoors. That's one of the biggest things I remember as a kid. Is my dad, we'd go fishing as a kid. There would be days he would never catch fish. He wouldn't be able to fish. He was too busy taking care of my brother and I and my mom. We'd all go and he'd make sure we were all set for fish. And that's I've talked about this in the past about how uh when you're taking somebody fishing, you gotta make sure they're comfortable, they're having fun. And it goes for kids too, even if they're not actually fishing, if they're just as long as they're having a good time outside, they're not gonna be fussy as much. They're gonna actually be excited to go, and it makes it a lot easier for everybody involved. David, really good morning. Hope you guys doing fantastic. You say hi now? No, no, you say, you want to snuggle? You want to snuggle? I love you too. But yeah, no. So right off the bat, for those who don't know Josie's story, she was born at 23 weeks and 3 days. She was born very early. She was 1 pound 4 ounces when she was born. So for the first 4 months, she was actually in the NICU nonstop, never came out. Um, Obviously, when she was in the NICU, I did a little bit of fishing by myself just to get out of the hospital. Uh, Took my wife a couple times, and I finally got her convinced to go out of the hospital to get a break for a little bit. Um, but once she came home, you know, my wife for first little bit, we didn't do anything. We stayed home, made sure she was good. She's on an oxygen machine, all that good stuff. Um, Make sure she was okay, make sure we were getting things right, had the process going, all that good stuff. Because the machinery was a little complicated. It was a little intimidating, you know. But once you got to a point where we could use the portable oxygen machine, uh, we looked at going fishing again. Now, I'm not saying not everybody's gonna have an oxygen machine, right? But what I'm saying is, even if your situation with your children is a little complicated, it is still likely able to be done. You can still likely go fishing. Again, you just have to do a little trip planning, things to process out. Think about what the necessities are, because the main thing is to make sure that they're comfortable and they're having a good time too. Exactly. Now, granted, I'm talking little. Like in our case, she can't run around yet. She can crawl now, but she can't run around yet. She's still playing catch up from being. But she's 21 pounds now. She's doing good. But when she had the portable oxygen machine, we would get to the point where, hey, we want to go fishing. What do we got? Okay, so we have to have a way to hang the oxygen machine. We have to have somewhere safe where she can't roll, get it yanked out of her face. It has to be out of reach for her to not play with it. Um, at that point, she was so little, she was mostly taking naps. So at that point, I was like, okay, where can we have a safe spot for her to sleep? Um, and honestly, one of the biggest things we had right off the bat, we had battery operated swing, which is absolutely fantastic. It could break down and fold. Um, so we take it with us. We take a picnic blanket with us. We lay the picnic blanket down, put the swing down, and have her swinging it. And at that point in time, that was the easiest part of the whole process. You hook her up to a machine, you feed her a bottle quick, put her in that swing, make sure you have fresh batteries, and she would just nap the whole trip. We'd go a whole 2, 3 hours, no issues. Now, granted, after the 3 hour point, it was time for her to have another bottle. She'd wake up and get a little fussy. So we would either take a cooler with ice to have a second bottle if we were cab fishing or carp fishing, or if we were doing any other kind of fishing, we would just uh, go on home and call it a day. Then, when she got a little bigger and the swing wasn't cutting it, um, we got to the point where we would pick more. We'd we'd better pick our fishing spots. We'd find one that we could park the car at and leave her in the car seat, um, and she could take a nap in the car seat. The biggest thing I will say about the car seat thing, obviously, if it's really hot, you're gonna want to run the AC or at least have the windows down. But if you have the windows down, you have to worried about bugs more so than you would if they were just out in the open. I don't know why. I don't know if it's actually a scientific thing or if it's just a weird phenomenon. If I had her in the car and I had the windows down, she would get 10 times more bug bites. Or if there was a mayfly hatch, every single mayfly would end up in the car. It was absolutely awful. So, just think about that. Okay, so you want a safe spot for them to sleep or hang out or play. If they have any kind of equipment, think about a way to hang up the equipment or set it aside where it's not gonna get in the way. If they're gonna be bugs around, make sure you have bug spray. Obviously, they recommend you don't use stuff with DEET in it, but to each their own. All of us have been raised in different age groups and around different things. Some people believe in DEET, some people don't. We did not use DEET with her. We used the DEET free stuff. Did pretty good. The off for babies has been the best one we've messed with. Um, yeah, and she's still gonna get some bug bites. Knock on wood, she's never had a tick on her, which has been nice. Let me rephrase. She's never had one that attached. I did find one time, but I got it in a hurry. That's another thing I will say. Why, if you do have a little one out, you need to check on them often. If they're playing in the water, you could deal with leeches. If they're playing under a tree, you deal with ticks, all that good stuff. Um, if you're around animals, like we had our dogs with us, sometimes you have to worry about, if you even if you're medicating them, you still have to worry about fleas and stuff for a while, and all those things can bite and will bite. a child for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because they're young and sweet or innocent or what, but they attract everything. Another thing I will say, if you do not like talking to other people, you may not want to take little kids fishing with you. They almost always attract attention of some sort. We always have people coming by asking questions and talking to us and want to know about the baby and all that good stuff. So if you're an antisocial individual, that is definitely something to consider as well. It is something that you'll have to deal with. Um, as she got older, uh, was no longer taking naps, a little more active. Uh, Obviously, snacks is a big thing. We take a cooler with us anyway. I got a wife; she likes snacks too, so we take a cooler with us and have snacks for everybody, including her and Josie. And that wasn't a big deal, but it's something to think about too. You're not just yourself. Me, I can go fishing. I might go whole 8 hours and just take a couple bottles of water and be good for the day. Especially if I'm on the kayak, I don't have to worry about having to use the restroom or anything. So I won't eat till after I'm done. Uh, Obviously, not everybody can do that. If you have a health issue that says you have to eat regularly or something like that, then obviously you have to think about that as well. Um, but you keep on rolling with it. You do things your way. You do what you can. All that good stuff. When she got older, like I said, was no longer taking naps, needed snacks, all that good stuff. At that point, you're looking for more ways to let them have freedom without them getting lost or drowning or whatever. So then we got the point we were taking just one of those portable pack and plays with us. They got high sides, they got mesh sides, they can see everything. Soft padding in the bottom, so they can take a nap if they want to. They can put a couple toys in the bottom of it. They're good. Um, if you're going out in colder weather, obviously you have to worry about making sure they're good and warm. We used to take a couple extra blankets with us, and with the pack and play, especially if we're fishing on the river or somewhere where the wind got really bad, we would put it so that way the front or just a side of it would face us, and then we'd use a couple blankets to cover up all the other sides and the top, so she could still see us and we're still getting fresh air, but that way she wasn't getting hit by the wind nonstop. Because you don't want her getting hit by the wind nonstop. You don't want her being tired. You don't want her being sick. That's fair. We're not to that point yet. She hasn't been bringing us stuff back yet. The worst thing we've had to deal with was her trying to eat rocks, which obviously that's the thing. So again, that picnic blanket helped out. He's got to make sure she's on that and stays on that, or whatever. Yeah, you were trying to eat rocks. But just things to think about. It's not for everybody. Some people don't want to be parents. Some people aren't parents. But for those who are parents, if you're wanting to get involved, get them involved, get them outside. Be able to go fishing still, not ruin your fishing trips or your success or your options. All it takes is a little more pre-planning, like I said. All it takes is a little more thinking about it, and you can still go. We've been very successful. And I will say with the boat thing, you do have to find life jackets that work for them. They're so small. Uh, it can be hard to find one, and unfortunately, they can get really expensive really quick. Um, Especially if they're really, really tiny. The first one we got her, I found thought about it. I got that picture pulled up. She was absolutely swallowed by this life jacket. Absolutely swallowed. It was hilarious. Yeah, all you saw was styrofoam life jacket with a little tiny head on top. That's all you saw. And then we got another one recently. It fits a lot better. And the nice thing about the ones for little kids, even though they do cost more, is they have a handle on the back. If they do fall in, it's a lot easier to get them out. It's just kind of like the dog ones that have the loop on the back. You can grab it, and then if they do for some reason fall in, you can get them back in. But the one was so big and bulky that when we went to lay her down for a nap, she already had a built-in pillow basically because she couldn't lay all the way down on it. In it, it always had her propped up at an angle, and she'd sleep in it pretty good. So I mean, just things to think about. It's we want to bring them with us. We want to get them involved, all that good stuff. But you got to make sure they're safe. You got to make sure they're comfortable. Make sure they're having a good time. And like I said, our experience with little kids, she's getting to the point now where she's actually interested in holding fishing rods and all that good stuff. So I think pretty soon, I'm gonna start trying to let her reel in, like maybe do some specific bluegill trips and let her reel fish in because she is getting to that point where she's interested in doing that. But she's interested in being active and moving around, and I'm looking forward to it. Um, I told many people in the past I was indifferent on having kids before she came along. Now that she's here, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been an absolute blast, and I'm looking forward to it in all aspects, including the stressful struggling ones and whatnot. I guess you can say hi to the camera now. And it's been fun. It's not been impossible. It's been all reasonable. Yeah, there's been some days where it's like, oh, it's really hot. I could get away with this if I go fishing this one spot, but I can't take my wife or Josie because it's a bunch of riprap rocks to get to, or it's a long hiking trail, and I got to carry all this stuff, and I don't want to. Okay, sure. So those days, I miss a couple of trips. No big deal. No big deal. Stay home, chill, work on gear, make more bait, whatever. Make it ready for the next trip. So you're not always going to be able to go when you want to go, but there's nothing saying you can't go at all. There's it seems to be a preconceived concept. Like I get lots of questions and lots of looks from our doctors and stuff. I say, "Oh, I took her fishing the other day." And they're like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we did this and this," and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I didn't think about that. Well, I thought about it. I really wanted to go fishing, and you can too. And if you guys have questions or a concept or whatever, you more than happy to answer any questions you guys have about it. Shoot me an email, hit me up on a comment. Hey, how'd you get that to work? Did you do this? Did you do that? What do you think about this? I'm more than happy to offer my input. We're all friends here. We're all fishermen, and I want everybody to be involved. It's a sport I love, and a kid I love, even when she's blowing bubbles into the microphone, and it's good for everybody. That's fair, David. Can you say hi? Can you wave? Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself on the computer? Who's that? Who's that? But needless to say, this is a fairly short episode. All I want to point out is no matter what you're doing, no matter how old your kids are, no matter how complicated their situation is, if you think about it ahead of time, you plan it out, you can take them fishing, you can still go fishing, still have a good time, and still get out there. Don't let it stop you. It doesn't have to stop you. Just get out there and go fishing. And that's the end of the episode today. I'm still here to chit chat, but this is Anthony signing out for Yakkity Yak Fishing Podcast. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope you can go fishing soon. Let me know how you did. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Next week is my birthday weekend. So I will be dosing on Saturday, September 9th. But next, rather than it being a normal podcast episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about stuff, but for the most part, it's going to be just the past year reflection of me fishing and life and whatnot. Feel free to come come fishing or come hang out with me for a couple hours. I'll probably do a little bit longer stream next Saturday just to hang out and celebrate life. Everything's been good. Been ups and downs, obviously. We'll talk about those and whatnot. But yeah, so feel free to come celebrate my birthday with me next week on Saturday. But yeah. So now we're just hanging out, just chilling. Anthony, good morning. David said hi, cutie. David said hi, cutie. You missed it, Daryl. Just talked about taking little kids fishing, what to think about, things to consider. My co-host was up earlier today, so she ended up being the subject. Was going to talk about kayaks, but it didn't quite work out that way. Yeah, I understand. I definitely understand. We had to re-sleep train her last night. She's been in our room since she got the feeding tube because of all the equipment. The dosing machine they gave us is absolutely like whisper silent if you got a fan running at all. And so my wife was concerned we wouldn't be able to hear it over the monitor or anything. So she's been in our room for forever. And so last night was the first time we put her back in her room. Needless to say, it was a long night. And she was up early. Hey. David over here having difficulty with letters this morning. It's early, I understand. What are you thinking? Huh? What are you doing? Yay, there's a big smile. Want to be outdoors? Good morning. Good morning. You say hi to want to be outdoors? Here's a big grin. Can you smile again? Can you smile again? You're not going to, are you? Oh, yeah. You're a nut. But it's just like I said, taking little ones fishing. Just got to plan it out. It's not impossible. It could be a good time, good fun for everybody, including them. She's at, like I said, she's at the point now where we're gonna start. I got a little dock demon. I'm gonna start letting her reel in some fish if she's able to stay focused long enough and get her start enjoying it very quickly. And then eventually, I hope to have another carp buddy. Start reeling in the big fish together. Fish that are bigger than her. Looking forward to that. Yay! There's a big old grin. All of her teeth are finally in. Her last canine finally came in this week. So she's been a little menace last couple of days, chewing on everything. Man, okay. So once she's over her, I'm mad. She's always cute, precious looking. She makes everybody makes everybody think I'm a liar when they say, "Oh, she did this" or "Oh, she did that." Like, no, she wouldn't do that. Not that precious little angel. Yeah, we're talking about you. You get me in trouble with people all the time. Yes, you do. Her new favorite word is no. Everything is no. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? I say I love you. She says no. My wife, especially. My wife's been having a really rough time with it. She'll be saying something and she'll be like, no. It's been chef's kiss. She's been getting the taste of her own medicine for a while. It's been pretty funny. I was told by her mom that she did a lot as a kid too. So nice, David. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna miss KP, man. He was uh he was definitely a significant part of this community for sure. And I am glad I got to meet him in person because he was definitely a good guy. Definitely a good guy. Any of y'all going fishing this weekend for Labor Day? Or most of you guys just doing like I'm doing and dodging the boats? Well, that's not true, actually. I think I'm probably going around picking up trash tomorrow. Yeah. If you don't know, I'm in the 2023 Trash Bag Challenge hosted by Avid Fisherman. It's for the whole entire month of September. Winner, the grand prize is a 3-day, sorry, it's a 2-day charter fishing trip with a 3-day Airbnb. Oh, that's being provided by Florida Flash. So we're going for that. Second, third, and fourth place, I believe, are cash prizes. So it's pretty cool. It's different, We're still doing our fishing tournament on the 23rd, but the rest of the month I'll be mostly pick up trash. Probably still squeezing a couple of fishing trips. We'll see. But plans to pick up trash. Go for that charter trip. My wife's never got to fish in the ocean, and This particular charter, if I'm not mistaken, is for inshore fishing, so redfish, trout, tarpon, bonefish, all that good stuff. Stuff that's closer to the bank. That's what I want. Redfish. I mean, that's I want to go deep sea fishing too. Don't get me wrong, but those are species on my bucket list. Those inshore species. What's wrong with your truck, David? What'd you do to it? Well, David, I can tell you that the ocean's a different type of beauty. Uh, it's very large. I'm from Michigan, so I had the Great Lakes, which were similar. You look across the horizon, you don't see land on the other side. It's a different feeling. Sorry to hear that, wannabe. We had to do that for our pit bull mix. She had an accident about a week and a half ago and didn't make it through it. So I definitely understand. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. She was she was 12. So I mean, she had lived longer than she was supposed to anyway, and had a good life. So I'm not too terribly upset about it. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I miss her and everything, but like the accident itself was not pleasant, but it could have definitely been worse. Ah, okay. I misunderstood that. I don't remember seeing the wrecked part on it. So glad they're getting it fixed. Yeah, just that time of year seems like and like I said, mine was 12. She was struggling the last couple of years moving around in the winter when it was colder. Starting to have hip problems and whatnot. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, if you will. I don't have to worry about seeing that again this year, or coming home every day wondering if she's gonna be there or if I had to go take her, put her down, or anything like that. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. That's even better, David. Free truck repairs. Yes, those are the best. Yeah, I'm thinking with it being Labor Day weekend, uh, some of those boat launches are gonna be full of trash this week, so I'm hoping to get a jump start on that. Goal is for 1,000 pounds of trash. That's the goal anyway. We'll see if it happens. Uh, Turtle Lady won with 975 pounds last year. Yeah, I'm trying to beat that. Wannabe, I understand that, man. But all you can do at that point, from my understanding, is just make them comfortable as best as possible. And if it's at that point, it's at that point. Unfortunately, ain't that right? Ain't that right? Yeah, yeah. You miss Ellie? Ellie was a good dog. She was. She was my fishing buddy before you came around. She was. Yeah, and it's actually really crazy how much longer those little species tend to thrive. Like my grandmother loves Chihuahuas, and she's had, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 that I can remember. Uh, not all some of them all together at the same time and whatnot. But they all were like between 13 and 20, and it's been pretty crazy. Susanna, good morning. Hope you're doing fantastic today. Thank you so much. Susanna said you're cute, Josie. You're probably about ready for breakfast. But yeah, no, you missed it, Susanna. We were talking about the about taking little kids fishing, things that my wife and I have gone through, figuring it out, and we'll take her to go and whatnot, and have to make sure she has a good time and is safe and bug free and still getting fed and getting naps in and all that fun stuff. It's been up and down struggle, but it's been fun. I have no complaints. Really, David? I say your Doberman's pretty rambunctious. I'm kind of surprised, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, before you guys head out today, if you don't mind, please hit that thumbs up button and feel free to leave a comment. Let us know if you're appreciating the show, if you like what we're doing here, and if you have any suggestions for something you'd like to be covered in the future, feel free to put those down as well. We're definitely open for suggestions. Uh, to keep this party rolling. And like I said, this next week is my birthday weekend, so the plan is just to do a little discussion about reflection and learning from previous fishing trips and whatnot. But that mostly do a year reflection on catches and cool things we experienced and saw and whatnot, and big changes and milestones, and just celebrate life. That's the plan next week's. Be a real short topic at the beginning, and then just hanging out afterwards. Probably be a little bit longer stream next week. Probably do 2 hours instead of just one or one ish. Obviously most of mine have been around between 40 and 45 minutes. Depends on how she's doing. Usually she's waking up right about then. Wanna be? I bet she could, but it would be interesting to say the least. I would definitely have to uphold the rod if it's anything bigger than, a couple of pounds. Oh, nice. Timmy and mine have the same birthday, September 9th. All good, David. It's definitely a system that they need to work on more. I use it a lot when I'm driving, and, I get frustrated sometimes with it, for sure. It's all good, David. I can think of worse fathers. Can you say hi? Don't tell me you're sleepy. You slept. You kept me up all night. You can't be sleepy. That's not fair. That's not fair. I made sure you had everything you needed. Can you wave the camera for Papa? No. Will do, David. Will do. Be safe. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and call it. So I'm gonna get her some breakfast. But everybody have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. This is Anthony with the Yakkity Yak Fishing Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Y'all have a good day. Tight lines. Be safe.